What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. And if you've been following my channel for very long, you know that lately I've talked a lot about solo role-playing and solo board games. I haven't talked as much about the games that I play with groups. And that's not because I quit playing, it's just because my groups have tended to play the same game a lot. So, I had done some videos back about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, about Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And I haven't really talked much about Pathfinder 2nd Edition lately because I don't have a lot of changes to report. But I thought that it had been long enough that maybe you'd like to hear how a group has felt the Pathfinder experience has gone for them after 3 years of playing the game. We started with Pathfinder 2nd Edition back in 2020 because I didn't really want to play 5th Edition, and it was a new system, and I knew I could get some folks interested because of the shiny. But that being said, I also actually played Pathfinder 1st Edition back when D&D 4th Edition was in play. We played a 2-year D&D 4th Edition campaign from level 1 to level 20, and after that I was really just done with the system. I felt like it experienced everything that it could offer me as a DM, and I wanted to do something a little bit more crunchy with a few more important choices for the players to make in character creation. So we switched to Pathfinder 1st Edition and played a session or two of that. I think maybe we played for about 6 months before my group disbanded and moved on. So I have some experience with that as well. But as I said, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, we've been playing for 3 years now, and I'm going to let you know how that's going for me and my group. So in the 3 years that we've been playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, we've actually had 2 separate campaigns, one a homebrew and one an adventure path. That's the Abomination Vaults. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did have previous experience running Pathfinder 1st Edition, so I kind of knew the world and some of the quirks of the Paizo crew. I have ran every edition of Dungeons & Dragons, so I have that experience going for me as well. Now, my players were ranging from 10 years old, first RPG experience, 50 years old, first RPG experience, 50 plus with decades of experience, and everything in between. I've had 11 different players in my campaign. I have 5 that have been steady throughout. Now, what I like, Pathfinder 2nd Edition has probably the best core product, in my opinion, of any RPG on the market if you're looking to play a long-term campaign game. It has depth right out of the box. You don't have to have a ton of expansions for this to offer lots and lots of character choice as far as classes, ancestries, and then choices within those. The pocket versions, which you see here, the soft covers, those are very affordable and they hold up very well at the table. This copy of the core rule book I've been playing with since the beginning, and it is the one that I always use on game night. And it is still in immaculate condition, and between this and this, you have enough to run a game of Pathfinder. So for like 30 bucks here and 20 bucks here, you've got enough to play the game. If you have any experience and you have any confidence in writing your own story, you're good to go with just those 2. And then if you want to get into the pre-written modules, I think Paizo is probably the best in the business at that. The Abomination Vaults is a great mega dungeon choice, starting at level 1, going all the way to level 10. My players have been playing it for over a year now, and they're about midway through the second of the 3 books. Now, another thing that we have liked about Pathfinder, and I like as a GM about Pathfinder, is they have 3 bestiaries, and out of the 3, they pretty much cover all of the monsters that you would want to see that are like the iconic monsters from Dungeons and Dragons or whatever your favorite fantasy game is. So if you just have to have all of the monsters, you only have to buy 3 books. Again, they're these softbacks. They cost about $20 online. And then the other thing with Pathfinder is they offer a lot of support for it. If you want a book that adds inventors and gunslingers to your game, they got that. They've got some undead-based books. They've got all sorts of different books to add a little spice. They've got some great world books with the Lost Omen books. But again, that's not what I like about it the most. I like that I have the option to add any of those, but I love that I don't need to, that I got everything I need right there with just those 3 books. Now, what my players like, the ABC character creation process, that is ancestry, background, and class. If you follow the simple steps in the player's handbook while creating a character, you can create a character quite quickly that has a lot of flavor to it right out of the box with just the core rule book. Now, you add in like the advanced player's guide or the secrets of magic or the guns and gears, and you're going to get even more options, but they're by no means necessary. And honestly, unless you have advanced players that have played a lot of RPGs, I would urge newer players to stick with the core classes. And also, even with people that have played a lot of RPGs, the Pathfinder classes and just the advancement system there has some quirks that other RPGs don't, that allow you to have a little bit more range in your choices. Now, besides that, my players also enjoy just the variety of classes and ancestries allowed just in the core rule book. I mean, you get goblins for a core ancestry in the core rule book, which is awesome. Champions, I feel like, are a little bit better defined paladin class. They also have a lot more options than your typical paladin class. And then my players really enjoy the tactical combat. My folks are very comfortable in a crunchy, let's figure out the optimal line of attack type of scenario, and then I have to throw some different hurdles at them to make them break up their choices and do something a little different every now and then. They also appreciate the intuitive systems, the 3-action economy, the different non-combat actions that they can take during a combat that will add to the game, the knowledge checks to try to figure out stuff about their enemies, things of that nature. The players really enjoy that. Now, what I don't like about the game, I really don't like the focus spell system. It seems like it's clunky and it's kind of forced in some areas. So, like, your monks have focus spells. Well, they're really key powers, but they call them focus spells. It feels like it was kind of just, we have to have something that covers all of these different things, and we're just going to cram them all into focus spells. I don't enjoy that part, but it's not a deal breaker. The release schedule, if you're a completionist, Paizo will kill your wallet because they release a ton of stuff. So that is a little bit too much. And then the time for character creation. So I said that the players like the character creation and it's easy, and that's true, but it does take a little while, especially if you're not using an auto-calcing character sheet. We had a character die in the last session. That's our second character death in our campaign that's been going on for a little over a year. And for the player to create a new, it was either 6th or 7th level, I can't remember where they were at the time, but to create that new 6th or 7th level character, it took probably a good hour and a half for him. Now, He's one that likes to really think about his decisions, and has a little bit of analysis paralysis sometimes. So it wouldn't take that long for everybody, but it did slow the game down quite a bit, and there are systems where that wouldn't have been a problem. So how's it gone so far for my group? Well, we're at 7th level now after about 14 sessions. As I said earlier, we're midway through book 2 of the adventure path, and we've had 2 hero deaths. So far, the scaling has been very good. The heroes experienced the first character death around 3rd level, and the second one, as I said earlier, was either 6th or 7th level. And so far, no evening of play has been devoid of challenge. The players have always ran into at least one encounter that really tested them and made them think about their actions and do something out of the ordinary in order to gain an advantage to win the scenario. I will note the critical system for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which is 10 over or 10 under, or a 20 or a 1, that will create some unexpected swings, which my group likes. They love that the monsters can get an unexpectedly great hit in, and they may be close to death, or they can do the same, but that may rub some groups the wrong way, so your miles may vary there. Now, for a summary of how this has gone, the core product, as I said, it's got the best total package of any crunchy long-term campaign RPG that's on the market right now. The APs, the adventure paths, are well written, and they have NPCs that have flavor and character. I wouldn't run this as a one-shot. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is a little bit too crunchy, takes a little bit too much time to set up for it to be a one-shot. Its strengths are really in the character creation and the advancement. But as a campaign RPG, this is an excellent choice, and that's why we're still playing it after 3 years. So until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. I hope that you guys are having a great start to your summer season. I hope that you're playing lots of games, and I hope that you'll comment about your games in the comments section of this video. If you've not watched any of my other videos, please check them out. I've got lots of RPG content, I've got some board game content, and generally, I just like to talk about games. But again, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.